individual consciousness. As I told, although our inner presence is one whole, it has 8 distinct parts. And what are those 8 distinct parts? We start with the physical nature, that is our body. Next to that, our vital life force. So our vital life force may include our sensations or whatever we sense using 5 senses, our energy of power and dynamism, and emotions. And after our vital life force, we focus on our mind. In mind, we have the objective mind, creative mind, and conceptual mind. And the ultimate thing, the origin of any resource, is our deeper self. So these are the 8 parts of our being based on which we attempt an assessment. Now, to start with the basic thing, the physical thing, the parts of being physical. And you know, in today's lifestyle, very few people pay much attention to to maintain their physique or to get to their physical needs. And we'll just quickly go through this. So here, when you speak about the physical thing, our health and our relaxation, and to what extent we feel grounded, and our physical sensitivity, to what extent you are able to recognize our bodily needs, and whether we are able to discriminate between the healthy things and unhealthy things. So these are things. And more than that, when you speak about the physical part of being, of our inner self, the most important thing, which may be a challenge, is stability of habits. So to be able to consistently follow a chosen habit or practice every day. This is a big challenge for most of us. We can see we start any activity like yoga or even any sport or something, but only few people will be able to do that consistently. So this aspect is very important. So because impact of physical nature is there on our inner self. Now, as we discuss these 8 distinct parts, we will be able to analyze also. We have an assessment tool and to access our inner presence. And maybe you have a scale of 1 to 7, and 1 is extremely small extent, and 7 is extremely large extent. So as we proceed in our discussion, maybe within a short time, we can just make an assessment of our present state. So first, the physical thing, accessing our physical presence. Now, we can see to whatever extent we feel healthy. Maybe if you feel extremely healthy, you can give 7, the maximum score 7. Or if it is minimum, it is 1. So to what extent our body feels relaxed and stress-free, and to what extent we are stable and coordinated, even while making a presentation or when it comes to professional situations, to what extent we are able to maintain our composure. And I'm regular in following the habits that I set, like a physical activity or exercise or something. Maybe if you are able to do that fully, maybe you can give a score of 7, or it is a score of 1. We can do this scoring quickly so that we can proceed. So next part of our inner presence, that is sensation or sensory enjoyment. You know, first one is body, and next one is related to our vital force, life energy. So this life energy, is divided into 3 parts. And the first one is the sensation or the sensory enjoyments. You know, in yoga, when you speak about yoga, we speak about the difficulty of controlling, streamlining our senses and senses. So to what extent we are able to see the differences, differentiate different senses like taste, color, sounds, and smell and touch and so on. And another thing is sensory enjoyment is also very important. And maybe being mindful and about how we are sensitive to the tiny pleasures of life, and how in a justful manner, how we are able to gratify our senses. And that's also very important, because you can see sometimes in some of the management people who may be very busy, and this part may be totally neglected, and maybe even the Even some people may spend some time for the physical to take care of their body. But when it comes to sensory enjoyment, we do that only when we have leisure time, and we don't make it a part of our daily routine. But this aspect is also very important. And as I told, although this self is a whole, all these 8 parts are very important. We have to pay attention to the development of all these 8 parts, and that is real personality development. And you can see we need to find time for leisure and aesthetic sense. And aesthetics, that's appreciating art. So this aesthetic sense is very important to develop this portion, that is sensation. And you can see great achievers, they have this aesthetic ability. Even we can say the late President Dr. Abdul Kalam, or even Einstein, or great achievers, they have an interest for music. They spend some time for this sensory enjoyment, maybe higher level of enjoyment. And that's very important. And we need to make ourselves comfort in whatever may be the situation. And the sensory enjoyment may bring that type of composure to our lives. And you can assess to what extent you are doing. Maybe this is the assessment tool. And maybe out of 1 to 7, from the scale of 1 to 7, we can attempt an assessment. To what extent you are paying attention to these different senses, 5 senses. Even while having coffee, how many of us are mindful? How many of us enjoy the flavor, taste, and all these things? And how many of us just gulp it as such? And music, listening to music, and to what extent we enjoy comforts, you can just give a marking, you can score. And to what extent we maintain that playful nature, the child within ourselves, whatever may be the challenging circumstance, you can see great people, how they maintain their temperament, and how their balance of mind, and even in trouble and challenging circumstances, they'll crack a joke, and then you can see great people doing these things. Next one is dynamic energy. So here comes all our passion, our ambition, our drive, dash and drive to succeed in life. And this is in modern times, this aspect is given much importance, prime importance. Whatever may be success driven, the entire society is success driven or goal oriented or result oriented. So personal power. So this dynamic energy, to what extent you are able to hold within ourselves a sense of power and authority. We can see some people, although they may not hold any type of position, by the way, maybe they conduct themselves through their body language, through their approach, they'll be just exuding power and authority. They'll be radiant with power and authority. Just if you look at some people, irrespective of their type of position. And courageous. So how we face any situation undeterred by the magnanimity of the challenge, whatever may be the situation. And whether we maintain the drive to succeed, success-driven, whether to what extent we are success-driven. And goal setting, and then being ambitious, and being confident and self-assured. And at all times, and how we have the courage to tackle any type of situation. Risk-taking. And whatever may be the field, whether it is business or whether it is any administration or whatever thing. So we should have this risk-taking ability and challenge-seeking. And there is no growth without any challenge. So unless we tread into challenging domains, unless we explore new domains, we'll become stagnant. So to whatever extent we are challenge-seeking, so that is that part of our self. All these things are within ourselves. For some people, a particular feature may be more developed. And those people, you can see, they will be highly ambitious, and then they'll be success-driven and so on. So the thing is, the objective of our discussion today is how to focus, how to have a balance of all these 8 parts, 8 distinct parts. That is the thing. Now, the assessment tool. Now, to what extent, in a scale of 1 to 7, success-driven, to what extent you are success-driven? And
hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody. Is there any question or something? Hello?
இஞ்சி இடுப்பழகா
I think somebody need to mute their. Yeah. Okay. Maybe the. I think Mr. Okay. So. Okay. So we are discussing the dynamic energy, but the other person is involved in sensory enjoyment, maybe in his own way. Okay. Yes, as the people are different. Okay. Hope I'm audible. Are you following, ma'am? Please confirm. Am I on track? Are able
Yes,
to
yes,
follow?
you are. You can. Your slide is not visible, but you are audible.
Is the slide not visible, sir?
1 minute, 1 minute. Please.
Sir, no, it's visible. The slide is visible, sir.
Okay,
carry on,
thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. So you can pay attention to this assessment tool and do a scoring, quick scoring. Maybe you can have the thing. To what extent we enjoy risk taking, or to what extent we explore new frontiers, and how we accept challenges, how we are thrilled to overcome challenges, and how we directly face any challenging situation, and to what extent we hold personal power. Then we can make a quick assessment. Yeah. Next is the emotional care. So we know man is a social animal. That is one of the eminent personalities, like Aristotle. Social being. Man is a social being. Okay. Now, when you speak about humanism or humanitarianism or whatever it is, when you speak about human consciousness, what distinguishes this human consciousness from animal consciousness is this aspect. That is that emotional care. Yeah. So this aspect should be developed if you want to be a balanced human being. That emotional care for others and accepting others as they are, and having a natural or spontaneous connect with people, not an artificial semblance of connectivity. To what extent you are large-hearted. Okay, how we identify ourselves as a part of a team or a family or organization, not being narrow-minded, but being identifying ourselves, having a sense of belongingness to the organization, a society, a country, and to what extent we feel joyful in helping others, giving others, and utilizing our talents for the benefit of others. And also our self-care, to what extent we respect and care for ourselves. All these aspects are connected to the emotional care of our inner being. Okay. Let us go to the assessment 2 and then see to what extent we are. Yeah, you can do the scoring. Whether self-respect and how we care for the emotional needs of others, and how we bond at workplace or at a personal level, and how we accept others, and how we have a tendency or willingness to represent a higher cause rather than in the individual, our own interest. To what extent we are able to identify ourselves for the cause of a nation, society, environment, and so on. And whether we really feel real joy in giving generously. Then we can do the scoring. Maybe this assessment may just be an eye-opener sometimes. It's something like a brainstorming. We might not have thought about some of these aspects, but once we get a trigger, that will just kindle some sort of development in our consciousness. Next we come to mind. So first is the connected to body.
Madam, I think you need to mute. I think somebody from SNS College has got his mic on. You'll have to mute SNS College.
Somebody from SNS College, kindly mute your mic, sir. Yeah. Okay. So far we discussed the 4 aspects now. First one is the physical aspect, which involves the body. And next is the vital or life energy. And there in life energy, we discussed
Ma'am, can you mute SNS
sensation.
college, please?
Life energy, we discussed the sensation. It's too loud.
SNS college needs to mute your this thing, no?
Yeah, no, they are muted now. Yeah, it is muted.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So far we discussed the 4 parts. First one is the physical thing, body, and next is connected to our vital life force, and there are sensations and our dynamism, that is our dynamic energy or courage, and third one is emotional care. So we have discussed 4 distinct aspects so far. And next is the more important thing, and where most of the academicians and business strategists and people are concerned. And we are getting into more serious aspects of our discussion. That is something related to a mind for something. That is the objective mind. So when you speak about mind, there are 3 aspects. We like to study our mind based on 3 aspects. The first one is the objective mind, and maybe the scientific mind, and where we give importance to fact or data. Factual. An objective mind will accept anything only when it is substantiated with facts. We don't blindly accept. There's no room for any superficiality. So fact-based. And objectivity is impersonal. So we look at any information from its own reference point rather than from one's personal lens of preferences. So without any bias, without any personal likes or dislikes, that is impersonality. That is objectivity. You know, in science, it's very important. In science and technology, whatever it is. That is, even can say when it comes to preparing a report, our objective mind should work. So, in a report should focus more on the facts or data. There, you should not bring in our own likes or dislikes. So, in academics also, this objectivity is very important, right? And detail-oriented. We need to have an eye for detail, and we need to substantiate whatever claim you can make. You need to substantiate. And precision, that is preciseness, to differentiate the subtle meanings in language, so that so using the appropriate words. So Coleridge, he defined, Christopher Coleridge, Wordsworth's contemporary. He defined poetry like this: best words in best order. That means, when you look at a well-written poem, even if you remove one word, if you try to substitute that word with any other word, the poem will become incomplete. That will be the best words in best order. That's a beauty. And that is some sort of near perfection. That is near perfection of art. Not only poetry, in all other forms of art, you can see some sort of completeness. Okay, that precision. So in objective mind, you speak about the precision. Time estimation, that is, in your ability to just prioritize and chunk tasks and evaluate the time it will take to complete. Maybe in business, it's very important. When you take a project, you should calculate the time within what time this project can be completed, and what are the things that have to be prioritized. So all these things are related to our objective mind, and how systematic we are. How we, in a sequential manner, in a step-by-step manner, how we carry out tasks. It's methodical. And next thing is not being emotional or abstract. Instead, we want to be tangible. When there is an issue, we want to just get the right solution, rather than getting emotional or engaging in abstractions. We want to get a clear or concrete or specific result, that is tangibility. So this is a very important aspect of our mind, and this objective mind is very important for academic success and to succeed as in the field of science and technology, or any pursuit wherever intellect is concerned. Let us have the assessment tool. How many of us we seek measurable data and facts before forming any conclusion? Or simply we jump to conclusions? A scientific mind will not jump to conclusion unless it's convinced with the data. I look for demonstrated competencies to accept any claim of expertise. This is also the objective mind. When somebody makes a tall claim about the person's competency, we look for demonstrated competence. Demonstrated, you look for evidence. Okay. Whether we have an eye for detail, I observe minute details present in any situation. I distinguish with precision the different shades of meaning in the words. In English, there are two types of words. Words with two types of meaning. Denotative meaning and connotative meaning. Denotative meaning is direct. Connotative meaning, depending upon the context, the same word may have a different shade of meaning. So whether you have that objective mind to be precise and to understand these different shades of meaning. And I quantify and estimate time accurately. When you take up any venture, to what extent you are able to estimate time. Okay. Experience will help, but anyhow, this is an aspect of the objective mind or impersonal mind. Let us go to the next aspect. Yeah, the assessment tool is there. A few more things which are connected to the assessment tool. To what extent you are systematic or methodical? How we plan our activities, whether we have an action plan, whether we are methodical in executing an action plan. And objectivity, we already discussed objectivity. And whether we observe, not only accepting information or analyze information without bringing our own personal lens, looking things as they are. Because this human mind, we have a tendency to accept things which are compatible with our own likes or our own beliefs. So that should not be there. Whatever is there, we should be able to accept it or evaluate without any personal lens. Yeah. Whether we objectify anything that is not clear or abstract into concrete and known terms. And when we come across an issue or an abstract thing, whether we try to objectify, whether we try to express the same thing in concrete terms, that ability, that is also part of the objective mind. Yeah. Next is creative mind or idea force. So creativity, we can say normally we feel that the creativity is meant for artists or like poets or painters or people like that, dancers and so on. But here it has a larger meaning. So all of us have this aspect, this quotient that is there in the inner presence of each and every person may have an aspect of this creativity. But only thing is to whatever extent we are exposed to that. Yeah. First one is purposeful creation. That is our innovation, our ability to innovate or create ideas, solutions, and that are congruent to one's vision and purpose in whatever undertaking. So we have a purpose or vision, and based on that, we have a venture in the life. And in that particular thing, to what extent you are applying your creative force, idea force, and how you are able to generate ideas or create ideas or solutions, that ability, our ability to innovate. Okay. Next is ideation. So this is an interesting idea. So here we refer, ideation means traveling with an idea in imagination and envisage how it could unfold or manifest itself in real life without any past reference points. When you get an idea in imagination, you have to visualize how it can manifest itself in real life based on it. So here, when we just do this visualization through the idea that we got in imagination, we should not get stuck based on our past reference. For example, you're working in an organization. If somebody comes up, if there is in a group meeting, you might be conducting group meetings for resolving certain issues. If a new member comes out with an idea, maybe there you should not just go to a past reference point and then disqualify that idea. Instead, it's always better to travel with that idea in imagination and visualize how it can unfold or manifest in real life. So you should travel in an uninhibited manner. So that is very important. That's ideation. That may lead to better solutions. Okay, that aspect is very important. And symbolic understanding. So this creativity, you can see most of the profound ideas are expressed in poetry through symbolism. Even take our own great scriptures like Vedas or Upanishads, symbolism plays a very important role because we can't express certain things using words. We need to get the help of certain symbols to express certain profound meanings. So symbolic understanding, to whatever extent we are able to interpret the symbolic meaning. That is very important. So interpretation of symbols. Next is how creative we are when we just contemplate ideas or concepts into real life to change and transform life and work. So creativity means not only getting an idea, but also when you think about the implementation of certain things, you explore creative ways of implementing ideas or concepts in real life. That is also related to creativity. So this is also, you can see, very important in any environment, whether it's business or whatever it is. Once you get a creative idea, you just see how this can be implemented. To implement a certain thing, you need to be very creative. Creativity within creativity. So it's very important. And next is whether we are able to envision or embed one's values and central governing principles into one's actions and behavior. Okay. So principle-centered living, this also we have to visualize. Okay. We have to find life purpose. So for that also, this creative mind works. Now let us go to the assessment tool. You can see, you can assess from a scale of 1 to 7. I innovatively create ideas or solutions that are congruent to vision and purpose. In any situation, I visualize multiple perfect manifestations of the idea or ideal without any personal preferences. That is in an objective manner. And whether we are devising strategies that enable ideal fruition of any idea. That is implementation of any idea or concept. To what extent you are able to devise strategies in order to implement this idea. That is also part of your creative mind. And how you, through your imagination, you are able to transform a concept into real life implementable applications. It's also related to creativity. And I uphold my principles and values in all areas of my life and work. Maybe you can give a score. Yeah, next we go to the 7th aspect. We are going to discuss 8, but this is the 7th, the most important thing. And this is the pure mind or conceptual mind. What do you infer from this term, pure mind or conceptual mind? Having a holistic understanding. Our ability to have a holistic understanding. Our ability to conceptualize something. What's a concept? A concept is a holistic. We arrive at a concept. We analyze various parameters and then arrive at a concept. So to what extent we are able to conceptualize certain things. So our ability to arrive at the core purpose, to clarify or re-clarify one's core values, ideologies, and life purpose that govern the whole of one's life and work. Our ability to get or understand the core purpose, there comes the pure mind. You just don't get distracted through frills and all the external things. You go to the core. What is the core purpose? Our conceptual understanding, to frame and use mental models to understand any experience, phenomenon or happening, to get an overview or holistic explanation of what is unfolding. To understand the concept, you use certain mental models to understand. That is the ability. People may have that ability to conceptualize. Culling out the essence. We contemplate upon various ideologies, philosophies, values, but you have the ability to extract the essential universal truth beneath them. That is the work of a pure mind. A pure mind will be razor sharp. It won't be linear. This pure mind won't be linear. It will be holistic, rounded. And here, Sri Aurobindo, because I did my PhD in Sri Aurobindo Savitri, and from the standpoint of essays on his Gita, he has written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, and one of his important textbook is essays on his Gita, and there he has spoken about the concept of avatarhood and other things. So there, if you just read Sri Aurobindo's works, whether it's Savitri or even some of his prose or life divine prose work, it will be rounded. And unless we have a holistic view, unless we use this pure mind, unless this pure mind gets into act, it may be very difficult to crack Sri Aurobindo. It may look like a far-fetched thing or very abstract. But once we have a holistic view, and once we just look at the essential universal truth, and if we have that ability by internalizing the experience, then we can see we'll be able to connect to Sri Aurobindo's thought. So there, I'm reminding of his example, this pure mind. And he speaks about this pure mind or higher mind and so on. Yeah. Maybe that's a big topic. We'll another forum we can discuss. And these two things are very important. That is mental widening. That is when you have, whether we are able to co-hold larger paradigms or the seemingly different things, opposite things. Whether we need to have a broader vision and then hold seemingly paradoxical or controversial things, even contradicting things, and enrich or evolve one's mental frameworks to include all these diverse viewpoints. At a time, we need to have this expansion of thought, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. In Tagore's Gitanjali, he refers to this, where his mind is led forward by thee, by the divine Father, into ever-widening thought and action. So mental widening, which can accommodate all. So that is the work of a pure mind. And not only you accommodate, next level is mental synthesis. So you are able to integrate these various diverse core concepts or paradigms and develop a world view or a holistic view. And this is true knowledge. Only when our pure mind gets activated, we'll acquire true wisdom, true knowledge. We'll have a holistic understanding of any concept. And this is an ideal, right? And let us go to the assessment tool. Whether we have clarity of our governing principles in life, values, or ideology, and whether we cull out the essential truth, to what extent we are able to get the central idea, the core essence, and whether we contemplate and comprehend universal laws and principles that explain the workings of life and events, and whether we look at the images and symbols and understand or interpret the symbolic meaning behind them. So from a scale of 1 to 7, we can do. Let's continue. Whether to whatever extent our mind is open to diverse or seemingly contradictory viewpoints, and to whatever extent we are able to evolve our own worldviews. To what extent we have the capacity to co-hold diverse or multiple perspectives or paradoxes, and how we are able to synthesize and bring all the so-called diverse and contrary and multifaceted knowledge into a cohesive whole. And here, when you speak about this pure mind, one thing that comes to mind is our own Sanatana Dharma. Hinduism is a name given to them. We can see there may be different philosophies. You have Advaita, which speaks about the oneness of the divine. Both the Jivatma and Paramatma, the same essence is there, oneness. We have the Dvaita theory, where Jivatma is different, Paramatma is different. We have Vishishtadvaita, by Sri Ramanujacharya. See? But there are certain central principles which hold all these things together. One is, there are certain things which are common. One thing is all these philosophies aim at a divine consciousness. And each experience is there. Each path is there. And progress is made in all these parts. And ultimately, we need to have a holistic understanding. The holistic purpose is to have a divine consciousness. Whatever may be the path, whatever may be the philosophy that you follow, the ultimate thing is to get the highest divine consciousness, universal consciousness. So there you can see the thread, the connecting thread. And that is the greatness of the Sanatana Dharma, and where you find in Bhagavad Gita also. Even Bhagavad Gita, the Lord, after giving all explanations in way of various philosophies, and he just asks Arjuna to use his pure mind to get to the essence, and whatever is suitable for you, whatever is in alignment with your life purpose, you just select. So that is the thing, and that is the act of pure mind. Ultimately, this pure mind will lead to our deeper self. Okay. So this is the origin, Mula, Adi Moolam. We can call this as Adi Moolam. And you can use any word. Maybe we can say higher consciousness, and a part of the higher universal consciousness or divine consciousness is also there in our individual consciousness. But getting connected to that may be the mission of life. The ultimate purpose of life may be to get that connection to the divine consciousness. Highest for, maybe when you speak about evolution, maybe from physical consciousness, we go to mental consciousness, and from mental consciousness, we may go to intellectual consciousness or aesthetic consciousness. And from intellectual or aesthetic consciousness, we go to spiritual consciousness. And if you want to get connected to that higher consciousness, we need to get connected to a deeper self. But the thing is, it's already there. A part of that is there within us, but it's covered. To whatever extent we are accessing that. So that may be the purpose, ultimate purpose of this existence, right? Now, by deeper self, you mean the inner guide or voice or conscience or whatever it is, and we just get some sort of opening to the domain of intuitive knowing. And only through deeper self, only when it's connected to deeper self, you'll get the unshaken faith. Even maybe belief in a philosophy or belief in God or whatever it is, only when it is connected to the deeper self, that will stand the test of time. Otherwise, it will be only temporary. It will be a temporary phenomenon. To get the unshaken faith, you need to get connected to deeper self. To get the inner call, life purpose can be finalized or experienced only when you get the inner call. Because most of us are externalized. To a larger extent, our lives are controlled by others' experience, others' expectations, others' ideas, and so on. But only when we get the inner call. But to get that inner call, where does it come from? From your deeper self. And only when you have that overwhelming experience or inner call, maybe we can find the life's purpose. Okay, this is what I have to do in life. Otherwise, we'll be living only others' lives, others' ideas. And getting peace, calmness is connected to a deeper self. Because that is Sat Sit Ananda. The deeper self has a consciousness which is full of knowledge, okay, and which is full of bliss, and which is full of truth. Sat Sit Ananda. Okay. So we experience the silence in mind. Only when our mind experiences that silence, we get connected to the deeper self. And this may lead to intuitive knowing. So you know the truth of things instantly. So you need not analyze things. You feel the truth. You see and that's why you call great people as seers. So they just see the truth. Okay, that intuitive knowing. And feeling that the inner resonance. Okay. And you get that inspiration or resonance from the thing. You become spontaneous. You spontaneously, even here, this sensing resonance is connected to art also. Maybe in higher forms of arts, you can see you get that inner resonance, and then your consciousness gets elevated to a higher level. You get unconditional gratitude or deep and profound thankfulness for every situation, life, and work. And this is possible. It's possible to experience this unconditional gratitude only when we are connected to the deeper self. And unconditional love, to feel love without any limitations or conditions. It's all there in a particular quantity. It may be different from one individual to other. It's all there, but we are not, only some people are aware about that. But this is the right time to just make an assessment. Okay. And to whatever extent we get connected to this deeper self. We may get connected in some moments in life, certain moments in life, we experience this connected, the deeper self. But to whatever extent we make it a reality. Okay, how we, and once we get connected to deeper self, and real transformation of our personality will happen. That is real personality development. Then that change will be forever, because that comes from the change. It's part of evolution. It comes from a higher level of consciousness, and it will be overwhelming, and that will stand forever. And if that has to happen, that is real personality development. You become a better human being, and for that to happen, you need to connect to the deeper self. So this is the ultimate purpose of life. Now, the assessment tool. So these are the parameters which can give some hints to whatever extent we are connected to our deeper self. Whether we have unshaken faith, and whether we have that aspiration, the higher aspiration, whether we have true calling and life purpose. We do just because we have to do, or we work for salary, or for material needs, or whether all our actions are guided by this life purpose or true calling. If it is guided by life purpose or true calling, that even this is heaven, even this world will be heaven. You'll experience only bliss. Whether we have that inner poise, although you are in the mire of activities, whether to what extent you remain unaffected by the external influences, whether you have that ability to experience the peace or silence in mind. To what extent we know the truth of things instantly without using our rational mind. Instantly, spontaneously, how you are able to understand truths. So this is also part of our deeper self. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, said Keats. See, what is true, good and beautiful. And why those lines become immortal? Because that experience has come from his deeper self. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. That's not external beauty, because external beauty may not bring us happiness forever. But he sees a higher purpose in that, and that is connected to his deeper self. And to whatever extent we feel deep gratitude, maybe for life, for people, or for country. Okay, maybe the soldiers, they lay their lives only because of that connect to the deeper self. And that gratitude, that ultimate sacrifice can be made only when you have the deep gratitude. That's possible only for those individuals who get connected to the deeper self. And unconditional love is not possible unless we get transformed by the deeper self, by the consciousness of the deeper self. Otherwise, it's only self-love. Self-love will be projected, and then we project as love. That unconditional love is possible only when we get it from our deeper self. Maybe you can, maybe from scale of 1 to 7, we can assess. Okay. So we have come to the final part now. So we have seen that there are some 8 distinct parts of our inner presence, and which we call as our being. And this is very important. This assessment is very important, because based on this assessment, all our external activities are done. And when we have this resourcefulness within ourselves, once we are connected to a deeper self, and once all these various dimensions of our inner self is developed, mind, creative mind, and the sensory enjoyment. So there should be a balance. We can't say something is better, something is not better. So when we have a holistic development of all these 8 parts, 8 distinct parts of our inner self, we can see there is real personality development, and whatever we do in our, whatever we venture in our day-to-day life, will have some sort of purposefulness, some sort of completion that we give, and which may give us real happiness. Uh, and we don't do it in a mechanical way, but we just live the life with the real sense. Thank you very much for your patient listening. And if you have any questions or anything, I'm willing to respond. Madam, hope I have ended on time. So we have seen that
Yes, sir. You are bang on time, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's finished his talk.
Students need to mute. See, SNS college students needs to mute.